Thanks so much for tuning in to Real Life today. Be Thou My Vision. Here is the story behind the story about this beloved hymn we sing in our churches and is one of my personal favorites. The hymn is based on a poem traditionally credited to Dallan Forgill, an early Irish Christian poet who was inspired to write it because of the life and work of Patrick 200 years earlier. Patrick, known as the Apostle to Ireland, his real name was Maewyn Succat. At 16, in 403 AD, Patrick was kidnapped by pirates from Britain and sold into slavery in Ireland to work as a shepherd. During his time in Ireland, he became a Christian and later at age 22 managed to escape slavery and return to England. But before long, the unthinkable happened. Patrick went back to Ireland to be a missionary to the people. He then traveled throughout the country to bring the gospel to what was considered a pagan land at the time. Interestingly, he used the shamrock, now a famous symbol of Ireland, to describe the Holy Trinity to the people of Ireland, comparing how the three leaves, or the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, could be separate entities, yet one and the same. Easter Sunday, 433 AD, became a day when Patrick's stand for Christ and his gospel would be severely challenged by the King of Ireland. The king, who hated Patrick and Christianity, had sought to kill him and had issued a decree in observance of a pagan Druid festival that prohibited anyone from lighting a flame or candle in the region. Patrick, rather than bow to the king's demand on Easter morning, risked his life by climbing to the tallest hill and lit a huge bonfire. When the king and the Irish people awoke, all they could see was that defiant fire that he had lit. Patrick wanted to show the world that God's light shines in darkness and that Christ alone and no pagan deity deserves praise. Rather than punishing Patrick for his rebellion, the king allowed him to continue to preach and evangelize throughout Ireland. And what was the name of the hill on which St. Patrick lit his fire of defiance? Slane Hill, the very named hill attributed to the tune later paired with the inspired poem, Be Thou My Vision. Be Thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to save that Thou art. Thou my best thought by day and by night, waking or sleeping, Thy presence my light. Be Thou my wisdom, and Thou my true word, I ever with Thee, and Thou with me, Lord. Thou my great Father, and I Thy dear child, Thou in me dwelling, with Thee reconciled. Be Thou my breastplate, my sword for the fight. Be Thou my dignity, Thou my delight. Thou my soul's shelter, Thou my high tower. Raise Thou me heavenward, O power of my power. Riches I heed not, nor vain empty praise. Thou mine inheritance now and always. Thou and Thou only, first in my heart. High King of heaven, my treasure Thou art. High King of heaven, my victory won, may I reach heaven joys, O bright heaven sun. Heart of my heart, whatever befall, still be my vision, O ruler of all. The prophet Isaiah wrote in Isaiah chapter 6, verse 1, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Hebrews 12, verses 1 and 2. Therefore, since we have a great cloud of witnesses surrounding us, let us also lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily entangles us. And let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. May Jesus be our vision always, now and in our eternity to come as his saints. Until next time, this is Real Life, and I'm Eric Godfrey.